Hello again, Struckwop. Welcome back. Today I'm gonna be bringing you a bit of a news flash regarding Wolcen Words of Mayhem, and this one would be about the crafting system. It's a preview that the developers released last night, and this morning I decided to make a short video for all of you who might be interested in this little bit of wisdom. So before we go into the crafting preview, let's first show you how it works in the beta, so that you would know what the differences in the beta and the final version are. Currently we have around, I think, 11 or 12 types of gems that we can get. And all those types give us an offensive, defensive and support. After the game launches on release, we would be able to get 3 offensive, 3 defensive and 3 support stats, so 3 times the different stats from one single gem. Removing a socketed item, as you saw, was easy. Just place the item in the jeweler and pay the fee and remove it. I'm assuming this would remain the same. Not sure how the difference would be in the pricing regarding removing 1 gem, 2 gems or 3 gems. You can see different items can have different sockets. Weapons and offhands can have up to 3. Weapons have only offensive sockets. Shields can have defensive and support. Armors, chest pieces can have 3 sockets. All of them can be defensive. Helmets can have 1 socket, again only defensive. Then accessories can have support sockets, 1 for each ring and amulet. Socketing items is easy, just select the gem, place it in the socket and it gets added instantly. So what we would be able to do in the released version of the game is we would be able to go to a jeweler NPC, the same one we saw, and we would be able to reroll the number of sockets which would be used in the crafting system, as you would be able to see in a moment. So here's again a preview of how we remove gems. And now let's move on to the exciting news. So here it is, what they posted on Steam today is: hello everyone, you've been asking for some news about crafting for some time now. Today we're happy to share with you what is crafting in Wolcen and how it works. But first we would like to inform you that the online servers of Wolcen would be shut down on January the 29th to prepare for the released version. So from the 29th of January until the 13th of February we would be able to play offline but not online. Now let's talk about the gems. And the first thing I've noticed is the thumbnail that was uploaded on Steam when they released this news. So what we can see here from the image is the stackable amount of gems and regions. So instead of each of them taking a socket, we can stack them. A great addition. And then we can also see some new looking armor here in the middle where the shared stash is. But enough about that, let's move on to the next topic. What we do know about the gems is that there will be some differences. Their fixes values will not be based on a random row, but will be fixed and only determined by the gem's type and quality. This would allow the gems to be stackable items, and that's how they are. And here is an example that the developers provided. We can see the gem has 1 offensive, then another offensive and a 3rd offensive, then the same with defensive, 1, 2, 3 different types, and support 1, 2, 3 different types of bonuses that we can get by socketing this gem in the corresponding socket. So as we've said and you noticed, 3 different types of offensive, defensive and support bonuses, and the matching sockets to these bonuses will be determined by a random row on our items. And now here is an example that the community manager provided for us when posting this. An armor that has 2 defensive 1 and 1 defensive 2 sockets, which corresponds to the gem, which is the same gem but gives different stats. So the first 2 are for +6 health regeneration and the other one is for +6 force shield regeneration rate. So socketing the gems would yield 12 health regeneration and 6 force shield regeneration rate. The next bit of news that was released was about Ethereal Regions. The craft will be based on item affixes modifications and consuming socketed gems to force or protect specific affixes. For that we will have several regions available in-game as woods or end-game rewards. And we'll need to use gems if we want to have control over the outcome of our crafting. So here's a preview of some of those regions. The first one is the Abyssal tier. This one consumes all socketed gems in the item, 1, 2, 3 in the image, and then based on the socketed gems types, it will randomly keep some of the magical effects that we currently have and remove a random magic effect from the item. And greater gems power would allow us to keep higher level magical effects. The next region that was previewed is the Entropy Orb, which again consumes all of the socketed gems in the item, and based on those socketed gems types, all of our magical effects would be rerolled with new ones. And again, the gems levels decide the resulting effects power. The third type of region would be Ohm's Echo, which again consumes all gems and then randomly removes one of the current magical effects A, B, C, D or E in this picture. Then it adds a new effect, and the new effect's power would depend on the power of the socketed gems that are consumed. And then based on the types of those consumed gems, whether they're offensive 1, 2, 3, defensive 1, 2, 3 or support 1, 2, 3, it would add a new magical effect to replace the one that was removed. The fourth type of region is the Ereban tier, which again consumes all gems, then adds a new magic effect if the item can have more than the current number of magic effects it has. So certain items, depending on their tier, would have different numbers of magical effects. I'm assuming probably the limit would be 6. And if you have a 5 effect item, you can add a 6th one with using something similar to the example which the developers show in a moment. So the new effect's power would depend on the consumed gems levels, and its type would depend on the consumed gems types: offensive 1, 2, 3, defensive or support 1, 2, 3. Now here's an example of the developers using this region. What they say also is these regions all have special effects and you don't need to have a gem on your item to use them at all. They also exist with a greater form, allowing you to use them on a legendary item, but never on a unique item. Then they also mention that to allow us to better control over our crafting and the bonuses that we wish, we would be able to reroll our sockets at the jeweler so that we can protect some of our items in a way. And the item level will define the minimum and maximum tier of modifiers applicable to an item, and the average gem level will define the maximum tier of modifiers forced or protected on the item. So in this example that they showed us, we can see that the armor from before, with the 2 times health regeneration, 1 time force shield regeneration, together with the greater Ereban tier, yielded this item with the health regeneration wrote on it. I hope you've enjoyed the video and the information was helpful. For future upload of content such as guides, build videos and other type of content for Wolcen, Warhammer Chaosbane, Torchlight Frontiers or Borderlands 3, you can subscribe to my channel, and if you like the video you can let me know by hitting the corresponding button, and the same goes if you didn't like it. And of course I would love to hear from you in the comments section regarding anything, be it negative or positive comments. I love to hear them all. Thank you again for watching, keep it cool, and until next time. And in the meantime, here is a short screenshot of the passive skills I used for the gameplay part of the video.